The easiest way of making a lot of money in sales is by performing bulletproof tie downs. Now, first of all, why should you perform bulletproof tie downs? Well, it's because performing this correctly, so performing bulletproof tie downs correctly, makes it logically impossible for your prospect to say no. Performing a bulletproof tie down or several bulletproof tie downs makes it logically impossible for someone to say no to you. Now you're probably going, amazing. That should be enough, right? That's not the whole story here. This is why my method of teaching bulletproof tie downs is completely different to everyone else's. Because everyone knows this. Everyone knows that if you perform a tie down and you get the prospect to say something and agree with the thing you're saying, you can then use it later on to close them. But there's one key element here people forget. And that is, you are selling to people. And there's one thing that people are not. And that's logical. You can say whatever you want. People are not logical. People are highly emotional. And you can say whatever you want. You can have whatever level of discipline you want. But with the right emotional stress, you can break your logical barriers. Case in point, if I say to myself, every single day, I will wake up at 6 a.m. Now you'll probably ask me, listen, why are you giving this example? I'll show you why this is crucial to closing the sale with tie downs. If I say every day I wake up at 6 a.m. without fail, but tomorrow, for example, I go to work and I break my arm and I'm in the hospital. Well, now that I'm in the hospital and I'm in huge pain, I'm not going to wake up at 6 a.m. to go start my day and go for a run, am I? So I'm breaking my logical discipline barrier, whatever you want to call it, because of a certain situation. Those are my emotions. My emotion is telling me I'm in a lot of pain, I'm very tired, I'm not going to wake up at 6 a.m. If you're sick, every day you wake up at 6 a.m., but let's just say you get the flu. Well, you're not going to wake up at 6 a.m., are you? You're going to take a rest day. So what I'm trying to prove here is logical barriers can be broken fairly easily through different emotional states of mind or different emotional scenarios. If someone dies, family member dies, you probably don't want to be getting up at 6 a.m. You probably want to have to take a day off and sleep in. Make sense? So logical situations can be broken by emotion. Why is this important? Because if you perform a tie down properly, it makes it logically impossible for someone to say no to you. But this sentence here will reveal why I've said this. If your prospect is already something, and you correctly perform several something, you will close the sale something% of the time. And that is, if your prospect is already emotionally invested, and you correctly perform several tie downs, you will close the sale. What number do you think I'm going to put here? If someone is fully emotionally invested in your thing, in the thing that you're selling, in getting the transformation of where they are now to where they want to be, they're fully emotionally invested in that, and you perform the tie downs properly, what percentage chance do you think you have of closing them? I'll take a pause. Write it somewhere below if you're watching this on YouTube, wherever. What do you think this number is? You have a 100% chance of closing the sale. Every single time. Now here's why I gave this example. If your prospect is not correctly emotionally invested, this is the key point, they will break the logical barriers you throw out at them. So if you manage to perform a logical tie down where they understand that if they just follow the program you're offering or take the steps in your product, it will work for them 100% of the time, because it's also worked for lots of other people, and you have lots of other social proof of people that were just like them. If you manage to perform this logical tie down, but the prospect doesn't care enough about where they are now and where they want to be in the future. They don't care enough about making the transformation because most likely you haven't made them feel enough pain. You haven't extracted the pain. If they don't care enough, they will break this logic and they will say, yeah, but I'm still not sure. And what they're really saying is, I don't want to take the steps in your program or your product because I don't really care about achieving my outcome because I'm pretty comfortable where I am right now. So that is why it's crucial you understand these two things is yes, if you perform your tie down correctly, it will be logically impossible for someone to say no to you. But unless you've extracted enough emotion out of them and made them feel the pain of their current situation, so unless they're already emotionally invested, they can actually break it. So what you must do is get your prospect emotionally invested into the thing they want to do. And for you to then perform these tie downs so you close the sale 100% of the time. Believe me, if someone is qualified and you bring out enough emotion and you perform tie downs, they will close 100% of the time without fail. So that is why you should learn how to perform tie downs my way. Because most people just teach you the first part. Come and have some of my training and you will understand how to get someone emotionally invested so that you can avoid losing sales that you were sure were going to close. So that you can avoid losing sales when you were like, hang on a minute, everything makes sense and I tied this guy down, but he still hasn't closed. What would happen if those sales closed? How much money would you make? What would happen to your life? Would you be able to go to the places you want to go? Would you be able to drive the car you want to drive? Eat at the kind of restaurants you want to eat at? Have that stress-free work-life balance you want to have? Go on the vacations you want to go on? Do the things you want to do, have the freedom that you want to have. What would happen if you closed almost all of your sales thanks to this kind of thing right here? You tell me. First link below, click it, let's get started.